Hi, I'm Angified. I started Angified Presents.
We share the love of music.
It has been medicine and therapy, and nothing else worked.
It has saved many of us. With mental health, we need to open our eyes.
Hurt people hurt people.
We ask that you listen, comprehend, and relate with your ears.
Form that heart of unity and one.
We share on this stage.
Statistics, feelings.
And ourselves.
We stand with the belief to be you, to be heard, and to be original.
We all may be different, with opinions and beliefs.
At the end of the day, we are all brothers and sisters.
We are family.
We ask that you join us in a magical journey with artists from around the world. Open your minds, let in the love,
and listen with your hearts.
We all want a better tomorrow. Be one.
Communicate and look out for one another. And then, and only then, will you find the world.
We will
find peace
in all the world.
You'll find the world. And you will find in this shining world heroes among us and every boy and girl. Many have been broken, red hearts turn black. Love will melt the ice and turn it back, and you will find the world. You will find the world. You will find the world. And when you find a place called home, where everyone is free to roam, a whole new world, a better place for our children's futures at stake. And you'll find with music in your soul, laughter in your hearts. Together we can grow a better place with love in our soul. And you will find together we can save it all. And you will find a place called home, where everyone is free
Rawr.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and MIDI too. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin' IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rev. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking IT. We're talking IT. Every Thursday night on Angified.
Every Thursday night on Angified. Highly educational.
Yes. Don't forget, thinking cap. Wear it.
Yes. And tonight we're going to have our drum thinking caps on. We're on to drums part 3.
extra drums.
Oh, and I feel like I'm just like at the tip of this rabbit hole so far. You know, we looked at the finger pads a couple of weeks ago, and then last week we also got a chance to check out metal and R&B to get ready for this WAG Finals Saturday. We're gonna find out who reigns supreme.
That's right. Only 2 days.
And we've got 2 tracks from the teams. It was a mashup of metal and R&B with team 1 is Mavi Hendrix and Maria Perdomo, and team 2 is Pinky Chew and Static. And they came up with some interesting twists to the R&B and metal mashup.
And we were saying that there's ways to do it, and it's just a question of what ways they choose to do it. So I'm interested. Yeah.
Well, in all the ways I thought, I mean, they ended up surprising me. I was like, no, I would do it. I'd do it this way, but now that I hear it, it's like, okay, that works.
Or that way, yeah. Nice.
So we're gonna take a listen to those real quick, and then we'll take a look at the videos that we've got lined up for EDrums tonight. There's some cool equipment here. I'm going to end up spending money on at least one of these in the next year.
Yeah, definitely. Got to get some drumming on.
All right. So the first track that we have for the finals is going to be Mavi Hendrix's and Maria Perdomo's. This is a more classic metal approach to the metal R&B mashup. It's nice with these 2 choices we have. It's a lot like some of the showdowns that we saw earlier, where they both hit the mark from different directions, and you're going to get a little bit of classic metal and you're going to get a little bit of new metal.
Very cool. I like it already.
All right, so this is Mavi's and Maria's.
Wherever we go,
Nice.
Oh,
Very
that's synth solo at the end is vicious.
Yeah, and I love the contrast, the structure going back and forth like that. Very cool.
Yeah. This is where, like, after hearing these songs for the last week and maybe my fourth or fifth listen, I'm starting to hear the things that I really appreciate in the different genres there. I picked up on some of the R&B that I hadn't picked up on the first couple of listens. The little bongo hand drum action that was coming in every once in a while. I was like, wow, that is the R&B element in the moment, along with that piano.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
And on the metal side, the chukka chukka buildups going into the choruses. That's my jam.
Without being overbearing too, without just slapping it all over everything on the whole song. Leaving it tastefully where it needs to be. Well done.
I like hearing that right before the chorus starts because it's that signal that we're changing gears. And with metal, you kind of have to do that in a dynamic speed kind of way.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
And you got to get heavier.
For sure.
That was an awesome submission from them. The second one, Team 2, is Pinky Chew and Static. And like I said, their approach, totally from a different metal perspective and R&B perspective. You get a nice variety between these two.
Nice. Coming at it from a different angle.
I'm screaming in silence, but nobody hears. Zoning in shadows, unseen through the years. They paint me a villain, they tear me apart. 'Cause they don't see the bruises inside my heart. They whisper they're just mine, but don't know my name. They don't see the struggle, just bury the pain. I'm breaking, but I won't fade away. I won't be a ghost in the twisted parade.
They try to control me, but I won't obey. I've been through the fire, I won't burn away. Holding my breath as I drown in these lies, but I'm breaking free, I can see through the skies. These scars on my body, are lessons I've learned. Each one a chapter, and pages I've burned. No more submission, no more regrets. I'm stepping beyond every single trap they set. I've come too far, I won't break again.
Shattered reflections, the past haunts my mind. The scars from the worst, they cut deep every time. chains won't hold me. I'm stronger than hate. Through all the chaos, through all the pain, I'll keep on walking.
Right.
Oh, that ain't your granddaddy's R&B.
No, that's for sure. Again, the contrast, like it. Love the contrast between the sections for sure.
Yeah, and they took that approach of like metal or R&B, then metal, the R&B, then metal, which when you're mashing up two genres like this, that's the decision. Do you differentiate the genres with parts, or do you blend both parts together? And between the two different finalists, you got a little bit of both in those.
Yep. One kind of more layering and one kind of more sectional. Sure.
Yeah. This one I could see like being a transition in a movie or something where like you're going from this scene where it's like amorous, that's the R&B, like there's love going on or something romantic, and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and now it's metal.
Yep. The big contrast, the jump.
Yeah, it kind of the energy reminds me a little bit of like that Meatloaf Bat Out of Hell kind of like you go from lovey-dovey to like rawr.
That's a good one too. Yeah. Good choice.
Yeah. So it's gonna be a hard finale to like right now I'm on the fence with both. I equally enjoy both sides.
Yeah. And for me, I love the fact that this, competition, so to speak, has brought such good music out of everybody, which is great. I mean, I love that.
I've gotten to see other sides of all these musicians, sides I've never got to hear before.
Exactly. And some of them might not have heard themselves do that kind of thing before either. And
yeah.
kind of stepping out of the comfort zone a little bit, which is great. It's a great exercise for anybody to do.
Yeah. I think they've all surprised themselves in having to go through it with this kind of timeline and new collabers. All of that is a new challenge.
Exactly. Very cool.
So now we're gonna look at EDrums, which aren't like your typical acoustic drums, although a lot of these really try to give you the feel of an acoustic drum with the convenience of digital sets and signal.
Yeah. That's the main thing is, again, just being able to control just one signal out if you want to, and separate it to others if you if you wanted to do it the other way, that's all fine too. But it all depends.
To the Talkin Shhh I.T computer.
There it is.
All right, let's see what we've got here for our EDrums night. Almost all freshies. I mean, there's a couple of channels that are go-tos for us, but 3 or 4 new drum centric channels that are awesome. And to start, Alejandro Cifuentes, he's going to explain why EDrums have an advantage. I mean, he says better. I would say has an advantage against acoustic drums, and that's kind of how I wanted to start the conversation with EDrums, because in the old days, as convenient as EDrums can be, there was a lot lacking in them until the last decade. Some of what we saw last week with that Zildjian cymbal, like the final frontier of EDrums is finally being solved.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
Alejandro's gonna show us the benefits when you do go the EDrum route. And then now Alejandro is also one of the instructors and drum experts over at Drumeo, and I couldn't ignore Drumeo
No.
because as far as best drum channel on YouTube, this is it. Um, Anybody wanting to learn drums at any level, these are all the drum experts at your beck and call.
Nice.
That's going to be from at Drumeo. He's going to give tips for when you start playing with electronic drums because it's not
It's different.
like the acoustics.
Yeah.
And I couldn't ignore this one because this is like if I had all the money in the world and you wanted the absolute best choices out there. The professional serious drummer in 2025 is going to be looking at one of these kits. And
Nice.
some of them they are we saw the Zildjian, they're a little bit pricey, but the technology that they're putting into these acoustic sets is incredible.
Yeah. Love to hear them, see what they got.
Yeah, and that one's going to be coming from the ultimate horse's mouth, Sweetwater.
Yep.
They know professional drums.
Oh, yeah.
And I wanted to include this one because after NAMM this year, a lot of drummers were raving about this. And it's nice to see occasionally the small companies still being relevant in this kind of world because it does seem like the big companies, the Zildjians, are now gonna come in, but Efnote has this digital kit that blends the best of both and easy to transport. One of the things the drummers are loving is setup with this is instant.
Yeah, just looking at those stands, that looks like it's going to be a lot easier, and it's good bracing. Keeping the drum kit where you put it rather than having it tip over or feel wobbly or whatever.
Yeah, that's another thing a lot of them who tested it said is it's like sturdy as hell.
Yeah.
And this one, this is probably the kit. If I do go down the digital drum, like I want to learn them, I really do. This is more in my price range. And as far as 399 or 599, the two Alesis kits he's going to show you here, you get a little more bang literally with the 599, and I think I would stretch the dollar, but he's going to show like, at this bottom level budget, you can get an awesome kit.
Nice. Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a fan of the cymbals though. Just like you said,
Yeah.
the cymbals are my turnoff, but we're talking $500.
Yeah. And again, we're also talking about learning something. We're not talking about, this is what I'm going to bring gigging every week starting tomorrow. This is what I want to get to work on my technique and get so that it's, comfortable to sit in front of a regular drum kit anywhere.
Yeah, yeah. I think if I was really a performing drummer, I wouldn't be looking at the $500 kits at that point because durability and everything else does matter when you have to put it on stage.
Exactly. And reliability.
Yeah, yeah. And when you are dealing with digital equipment and moving it on and off stages, that's a little more sensitive than, your traditional acoustic equipment.
Yep. But be careful with it anyway. Be careful with it all.
That's going to be coming from Cooper Drummer. And for the final video, I've got a little homework project. Cole Seth, one of our Patreon supporters and good buddies in the music room. We covered the finger banging a couple weeks ago, and he went and bought the Contact Maschine, which has been. I really want to get into the Contact library, and I want the 88 key weighted controller, but it has this built into it, and Cole needs to get this set up, and I need to know what I'm going to be dealing with. So this is going to be tutorial and an introduction into what the Contact Machine can do.
And that would be the question, is if he's looking to use it mostly for, coming up with drum beats and using it all as drum stuff, or is it for loops and, not quite DJ stuff, but you know what I mean? Like putting things together.
He's probably going to do both, knowing him.
And I'm sure he can do both for sure.
He's going to be using it for his next album. Now that he's done with Stellar Illusions, the next album, this is the toy that's going to help him drive it.
Nice.
Yeah, that one's going to be
upgraded toys, upgraded tools.
That one's going to be coming from one of my favorite reviewers of all time, not just with music, but Sanjay C. Best reviews on equipment, and in this case, tutorials. Like, this is how you set up one of these.
All right.
So going back to the EDrums here with Alejandro Cifuentes. I hope I'm saying that right. It's such a pretty name. And those are such pretty drums.
Alejandro Cifuentes.
See. You might be Spanish.
I've said a few words here and there.
Yeah, and that's his @name over on YouTube. And he's one of the Drumeo partners. He's one of those drum experts and consultants with drums when you go over to Drumeo. And I loved what he's covering here, because this is the perfect way to start when it comes to, hey, you're buying your first drum kit. It's 2025. What considerations are going to put you on an acoustic kit or an electric kit? And he really does look at the important things to consider when you're starting out like this.
And in a number of places that I have, friends who are musicians, and we have rehearsal spaces at their houses, and they do have a regular kit and an electric kit in a lot of cases, because there's different things you might want to do with one versus the other. If you're using one for recording a specific sound, or you need, certain, like you were saying, certain triggers you can get automatically out of certain kits, whereas others you would have to do a lot of extra steps.
Well, you literally can change the sound of your kit with the eKits, and
right, exactly.
You can sound like those expensive kits in sample.
Yep.
And when it comes to recording, that's going to be one of the biggest advantages with an eKit, is not only are you recording audio, but you're recording trigger, and for drums, professional drums, you want both.
Exactly.
So let's see what Alejandro thinks about why eKits have an advantage.
Thinking about getting a drum kit? Well, here are 5 reasons why an electronic drum set might be the perfect choice for you. Let's go. Reason number 1, silent practice. That's why I love EDrums. You can play at any time, day, night, and you're not going to disturb your neighbors. That's the best thing ever. And that's the reason why I got my first electronic drum set, the Alesis Strike Pro. I wanted to play for more hours, especially I wanted to play at night. It's like 9 p.m. and I'm like, man, I want to play drums, or maybe I just listen to a song at night and I'm like, man, I just want to play this song. Probably my neighbors are like, man, I think this guy's sleeping. And I'm like, bah, 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 going crazy in my drum set. And with an acoustic drum set, it's very difficult to do that. You need like a proper studio that doesn't allow noise to go out of the room. So the perfect solution for the noise is this, an electronic drum set. Reason number 2, easy to transport. Another beauty of electronic drum sets is that they are very lightweight compared to acoustic drum sets. So even for me, when I record with EDrums, oh, it's so easy to move them around the house. For example, I just carry them, boom, out of the room, then I grab another one and boom, inside the room. And you can do the same. For example, transporting an acoustic drum set in a car, oh man, you will need a big car or maybe an SUV, because putting a complete acoustic drum set inside a small car, man, it's hard. So if you have an EDrum set, it will be so much easier to transport. If you're gonna have like a gig or maybe a rehearsal and you need to take your drums with you, EDrums are, oh my god, are just a breeze to transport. It is not as complicated as transporting an acoustic drum set. Man, it's so much easier with an eKit. Reason number 3, multiple sounds. Oof, the fact that you can have multiple sounds in just one kit, in just one module, that will make your life easier. You can switch between sounds in just seconds. And that's one thing that you can't do with an acoustic drum set. If you want a different sound, for example, in a cymbal, you will need to buy another cymbal. Same thing with accessories. If you want to get a tambourine sound, you will need to get a tambourine. If you want a different sound for a drum, you will need to get a different drum, maybe a different snare. So the fact that you can have multiple sounds in just one drum set, oh man, that's beautiful for your pocket. If you want to save some money, if you want some benefits for your pocket, EDrums are great for that. Reason number 4, MIDI compatibility. Okay, we are in 2024. Most EDrums, they are compatible with computers and they are MIDI compatible. So you will only need a USB cable. Most of the times you plug it into your computer and you can have more sounds for your drum set. They are called DAW softwares, and most of the times those sounds, they are better than the ones included in the module. But again, you can have unlimited sounds for your drums. And also you can record your drums directly to your favorite software, because again, with acoustic drums, you will need one mic per drum. And even if you want to take it to the next level, one mic per cymbal. So just imagine how many mics would you need to record just one drum set. Mics, cables, interface, man, it's a lot of work and it's a lot of money. So if you want to make it simple, with just one USB cable, you can record an entire drum set. And okay, I know acoustic drums, they sound better. Yes, but most drummers, they don't want to record professionally. They just want to record some covers, have some fun. So if you're a drummer like that, you don't want to take it super professional, EDrums are the best fit for you. Reason number 5, space saving size, because size do matter in drums. So I don't know, maybe if you live in an apartment or your room is kind of small and you don't have that much space to put an acoustic drum set, again, EDrums can be the perfect fit for you. So, and just imagine this, you have your acoustic drum set and you want to get more sounds, so you get more cymbals. It's going to get bigger with time. New accessory, a new cymbal, a new drum, maybe a full-size kick drum, 2 full-size kick drums, I don't know. This will depend on you, but that is the hard part of acoustic drum sets. If you want to get more sounds, you will need to buy more stuff and your drum set is going to get bigger. And that situation doesn't happen with EDrums. Well, or maybe just with an expansion pack, it's only just one drum and one cymbal. You can have multiple sounds and keeping your drum set small, just keeping it at the same size. And guys, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching this new video. These were my top 5 reasons why an electronic drum set might be the perfect fit for you. Tell me in the comments below if you already have an EDrum set, or if you want an EDrum set, tell me which one you want in the comments below. And also tell me in the comments below if you have more advantages of having an EDrum set. And guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Goodbye. It's cold here. Sometimes it's hard to speak in English. Damn.
Oh, I know, Alejandro. I suck at English. He's
Takes a lot
better
of
than
practice.
me.
Takes a lot of practice.
And he convinced me I want an EDrum kit. And I actually want the one he's playing there because it's the most cost-efficient entryway.
Yeah, and as you're saying, like, I don't know if you noticed, but the triggers on some of those cymbals or percussion things were coming from the rim around the toms as opposed to just being on the cymbals. So you can go from the cymbals to the edges, back to the cymbals, and get all kinds of variety going on there. Very
cool. I love the way Alesis is padding and using triggers, side triggers on top triggers. That's why today's drum kits are getting so versatile. I mean, the response and the reaction he's getting there, the ability to like those cymbals, not a big fan of the plastic approach, but they look so comfortable in what he's doing. And he switched from a cowbell to a ride
Yeah.
without
And the thing
even
is,
blinking.
as you're as you're playing, as he's swinging, like that's what he's hearing in the headphones. So it sounds like it's supposed to. So like when he's crashing into that crash, it really sounds like a crash. And that's why, it looks official when he's hitting it. And even though it's a piece of plastic, and even though if you're just listening in the room, it's just that thud sound, what he's actually getting is the crash that he's expecting. So it's
And
gotta sound right.
his point about being able to play quietly when you need to, you heard how it sounded in the room. I
Oh,
mean, I doubt that like you'd really piss off your neighbors if you're playing one of those.
Not at all. Even these cymbals, I mean, that I would have to really lay into the plastic cymbals to really disturb anybody, and it wouldn't be disturbing. It would just be monotonous if they heard it, because it would just be like I'm sitting there, tapping a pencil on the table, essentially. But the main thing for me was people living below, because I don't want to be stomping on the kick and have it like doom, 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 and every time I hit, I don't want that to also go down through the kit into the floor. So I did try to put some padding between the base of the drums and the floor, so it absorbs some of that. So like one of those weightlifting rubber mats, basically. Yep. Something like that will just absorb a lot of the vibration before it actually gets to the floor. So I like using stuff like that to isolate. So
yeah,
good stuff.
But those are all great reasons to consider the eDrum set.
Exactly.
And the portability, like he emphasized, it's so much easier.
You can wear that thing. Just like, throw a belt around it and just walk around right down the street. You're all good.
Well, you saw how he got it all into like the back of his car and didn't need a SUV.
Yeah. Or even just the way he collapsed those legs, in tight, and just picked the whole thing up right through a narrow doorway and set up, and boom, you're dead.
Yeah, that's how I move my shit around in this room. I move the whole thing if I can.
Exactly. No sense taking it all apart.
Nope. That was awesome, Alejandro. You've convinced me 150%.
Nice. He's getting EDrums. Nice.
Yeah.
Very
cool. Now we're going to go visit one of the sites he's partnered with, Drumeo. At Drumeo Official, monster drum site, 4.65 million strong.
Nice.
And tips and tricks on everything from every genre. When you look at the videos that they have, doesn't matter what genre you're into, if you play drums, it's there.
Or if you want to play drums.
Yeah. Well, and if you do want to play electronic drums, that's what this video is for, is those tips that you really should be thinking about when you go the electronic drum route.
Because it will be different.
Yeah. And if you've never dealt with, say, an acoustic kit, and it's like your first drum kit ever, might be even more important to understand what you're getting into.
And what the differences are,
Yeah. Oh, and this one we've got in our cloud.
Drumeo is definitely one of those sites that has lots of great information.
What? Oh. I'm going to have to log out on this machine and come back in. So while I do that, we'll jump over to the third video.
Sure.
And we'll take a look at these 4 kits from Sweetwater, because we do have that one here, and I can get the other one set up while that plays.
All right. I like it.
This one comes from Ultimate Shopping Source. This is where I get my gear these days at Sweetwater.
Always a pleasure working with them.
Yeah, and this is a example of the Roland the DW, and the DW, boy, wait till you hear it. The Alesis Strata, which is like the king daddy of what we just saw, and that Zildjian kit that we got a peek at last week. So these are not cheap kits, but these are the kits.
Solid face off, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Greetings everybody, Nick DiVirgilio here, and I'm standing in between 4 of the best electronic drum kits on the market, and we're going to compare them. Let's do it. Over there on my left is the Zildjian ALCHEM-E. Next to that is the Alesis Strata Prime. Right here is the brand new Roland VAD 716, and next to the Roland is the DW-E. Now I'm going to go sit down behind each kit, play them a little bit, and give you some of the top features of each one. The DW-E kit is amazing technology because it's the first wireless electronic drum kit. No cables, nothing to plug in, just the interface, some computer software, and your laptop, and you're ready to go. The drum shells are real DW Collector Series maple shells. You can actually take out the triggers on the inside, put on some regular Mylar heads, and have a real acoustic drum kit. The sounds all come in DW's SoundWorks library, and they are samples of real DW kits, some of the most famous ones they have. Maple Mahogany, Pure Maple, Purple Heart, even Don Lombardi's personal Slingerland drum kit. So combine all those amazing sounds with the ease of no cables. You can move this drum kit around any stage, just like a regular kit, and you have something really special. Roland's flagship, the VAD 716, looks like a real acoustic drum kit, Roland's amazing pads, and the brand new V71 module. Now, since Roland and DW are part of the same family, you get DW's SoundWorks sounds inside the Roland V71 module. One of the great features of the V71 module are all of the ins and outs you get on the machine. Tons of direct outs, plus the stereo out. Send a whole different mix to your front of house engineer and have a separate mix for yourself. One of the very cool new features is the snare drum pad that comes on the VAD 716. The throw-off acts like a real acoustic drum. Also, the dial that's on the strainer can be set to adjust anything inside the V71. You could tune the drum, you could tighten up the snare wires, you could have it set to effects, all kinds of cool things. The VAD 716 is the flagship kit, but there's also the TD 716 and the TD 713. Each of those kits comes in the 2-up and 2-down configuration. Lots of cool sounds and great playability with the VAD 716. The Alesis Strata Prime is a very cool high-level pro drum kit, but what's really cool about this kit is the price point. It comes in at less money than these other kits here. Even if you expand this kit and use the expansion pack, you're still going to come under what the other kits cost. There's tons of amazing sounds inside the Prime module, but what's really cool about it, it's really intuitive and it's gorgeous to look at. I know it's a small thing, but when you have something cool to look at when you're deep diving and getting into the editing features, it just makes it more fun to do. The cymbals on the Strata Prime are 360 degrees, meaning you can hit them anywhere. You can also choke them anywhere on the cymbal. The Strata Prime module gives you a lot of flexibility when you're routing your sound, whether you're playing live or recording in your home studio. Not as many outputs as the Roland V71, but still, for the price point, you get a lot of flexibility. So all around, the Alesis Strata Prime gives you a lot of value for money, great size pads, lots of drums, this great module, good value for money when you're on a budget. The Zildjian ALCHEM-E electronic kit is super cool. You got a great brain with lots of cool sounds, but you also get real Zildjian cymbals. They're perforated, so they're very low volume. You don't hear them much at all when you're playing them, but they're real cymbals. They play like real cymbals and feel like them in your hands. The eVault brain is very easy to use. It has a beautiful color display. There's all kinds of in and out options on the back. The pads feel really good, and again, the best feature I think of this kit is these real Zildjian cymbals. And there you go. I hope this comparison of 4 great electronic drum kits helps you when you're ready to pick out your next eKit. If you have any questions at all or want more information, just contact your Sweetwater sales engineer or go to sweetwater.com. Cheers, everybody.
Oh my God, that Zildjian is so sexy.
It sure is. I love those. I mean, they, like you said, even the which one had the 360 cymbals? The one right before that.
The Alesis. Yeah, the Alesis.
Yeah, that was also solid as far as that goes. Like I like that feature as well, being able to hit the cymbal anywhere and choke it anywhere, as opposed to just that front quadrant like some of them have.
Yeah. And you know, when you're looking at the outputs, because that Roland is very impressive when you see all the routing options. You can have 2 separate mixes going at the same time.
Exactly.
But
and that could be big, yeah.
I didn't know that Roland and DW were part of the Roland must have inhaled DW at some point.
Yeah, I wasn't following that either.
And that is another sexy kit. The sound engine behind it and the build on those, they have made a name for themselves in the EDrum world.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And again, great running them through the paces there, you know, seeing the effect and seeing how they play, and they look like they would play amazing.
Yeah, that salesman's so good, I want them all.
Exactly. Just that first clip of him going from one to the next to the next to the next. You can hear the difference between them, but it's not like, you know, this one's so much better than that one. It's just each has its own character from what he was playing.
Well, and it's nice to see the response time, because that's what's blowing me away with these modern kits.
Mm-hmm.
In the old days, response was the big reason a lot of acoustic drummers didn't want to go digital.
Yeah.
Digital couldn't keep up with the fast ones.
Nope. And again, the feel and just, you know, it should basically be as if you're sitting at a regular kit is what it comes down to. So like the targets you're hitting and how they respond to you hitting them is really what it comes down to on those.
Yeah. And those cymbals.
Yeah. Well, I think that would be, to me, like the ultimate extension of that. Like if you expand forward to what they would go with the drums would be like just a single like post in the middle that comes out with like the pads, like the actual surface that you're hitting as like a paddle almost. And like you're just hitting that, you know, so there's just no shell around it. There's no body to it. It's just, you know, like a tree with each of the things that you're going to hit is like a leaf coming off of the tree. So you can just,
hey, if you could turn it into one pole with all these drums.
Exactly.
I'll buy one of those.
We'll look into that.
So now we can get our Drumeo official video up.
Nice.
Get our tips for playing with electronic drums.
Right.
Today we're going to talk all about electronic drums. Now more than 50% of new drum sets sold are electronic, so it's time we start looking at this instrument as its own unique beast. Not something to replace acoustic. It's not acoustic versus electric. So many drummers are using this as their primary instrument to learn on, to gig on, to practice on, and we need to start looking into it more and diving into what we can do to actually improve our experience behind the kit. So let's get started. Now, electronic drums can be a great way to get started. They're really compact, they're quiet, so if you just want to play with headphones and not bother anyone else, if you live in an apartment or things like that, it can be a great alternative or a great primary drum set. Now, I've actually gigged on electronic drum sets before, and obviously I've gigged on acoustic drum sets a lot. Now, everyone has their preference, as I've been playing for more than 20 years, but personally I do prefer acoustic, but there's been many, many situations where the only option has been electronic, and if you know some of these tips, you'll be able to make the most of it in these types of situations. And for those of you who play electronic drum sets regularly, please feel free to put your tips in the comment section below this video so we can all share and help each other. So to get started, I just wanted to suggest that if you are primarily going to be playing electronic drums, it's really important to get some great headphones. Now, I'm just using these Shure in-ear headphones. I don't know the exact model, but they're around $99 to buy some of these, and they sound really, really good. They still have a nice amount of bass in them, but there's also other great headphones that you can choose to buy and really invest in some of those. If you're just using the normal, earbuds where there's a lot of other ambient sound coming in, it could really disrupt the experience and make it not as enjoyable. So start there. So once you have some decent quality headphones, the next thing I would suggest is that you take some time to learn the module. Now, you can do this just by reading the manual. I understand the manuals can be kind of dry. In Drumeo, we are creating some courses on specific electronic kits that kind of guide you through the process of unboxing, setting up, learning the module, different tips and tricks like that, although we don't have every model in there. But there's tons of videos out on YouTube where you can kind of browse what other people are sharing, what other people are doing with their module, and you can really learn a lot just from everyone else. And so take some time to really get to know the module. This is a kit I literally just sat at. I hadn't really played this that much, and we were together with the guys here, we were kind of figuring out how to turn up the music, how to change the kit, how to play different songs, and I was just kind of diving in and figuring it out. But if this kit was going to be my main kit at home, I'd really study how to use this module, how to get the most out of it, how to customize the drum sound, to change the tuning, change the triggers and how responsive they are, really try and make it fit my playing style as opposed to just leave it how it is out of the box. Everyone plays kits a little bit differently, and so based on how you hit them, where you hit them, your level of dynamics, you might want to go in there and adjust those types of things. So as I was preparing to do this lesson, I asked everyone on Facebook and Instagram, and I said, what are some tips for electronic drummers? Because admittedly, I don't play electronic drums that much, but I wanted to kind of get a pulse on what the community is saying. And one of the tips was kind of surprising and one that I've never heard before, and that is using nylon-tipped sticks. Now, this is most applicable when you're having a mesh head. Okay, so you'll see here on the snare drum, this is the Roland mesh head, and if these wood tips were splintered or anything like that, and I was banging on the drums over and over again, so this could actually damage the mesh head, and that's why nylon tips would be a better choice. The reason drummers use nylon tips or wood tips on the kit is because the tip actually does change the sound on the cymbal. So if you're playing an actual cymbal, not a rubber cymbal, the nylon tip will sound different. But on electronic drums, the type of tip you have on your sticks, it doesn't really make as big of a difference. It doesn't really make any difference, to be honest with you. Now, the next tip I want to give you is similar to the nylon tipped sticks, and that is with your bass drum pedal. Now, you'll see here I'm using the Yamaha bass drum pedal. I know it's a little bit sacrilegious putting a Yamaha bass drum pedal on a Roland drum set. Oh my goodness. These two, they really hate each other, right? Not really, just joking. But the felt bass drum beaters hitting against the mesh head, I have heard reports of that actually damaging that mesh head, wearing through it quicker, and so it's just something to be aware of. Some people are saying to use a plastic or a wood beater, as that will wear down the mesh in a much, much shorter time. But for me personally, all I've seen is it starting to fluff and flake all over the place and just kind of wear down the beater as opposed to the head. But I don't want to speak to your specific use case, so if you are concerned about having to replace the mesh head on the bass drum pad, then make sure that you switch to a plastic or a wooden beater. Now the next one is probably the most important tip, and this is the biggest thing I see from drummers who play electronic drums as a way to practice, so that's not their main way of actually gigging or their main way of like what they consider to be them playing drums. They really see themselves playing an acoustic kit, but all they can play is an electric kit for reasons of volume or for reasons of space or things like that, is when they transfer from an electric kit to an acoustic kit, the dynamics become an issue. So if I'm playing a groove, and I want the hi-hat to be louder, a lot of drummers will go into the settings and actually just turn the hi-hat louder, rather than actually just hitting it harder. And then when they get to an acoustic kit, they can't do that. And so you see a lot of drummers going from electric to acoustic, and they're hitting their hi-hats way too hard. They're hitting their snare way too quiet. They're hitting their bass drum way too quiet, because when they're playing their electronic kit, the bass drum is loud. You can make it loud just from simply tapping it, by just going into the module and making the trigger that responsive, and it's just cranking up the volume on that. So you still have to be mindful over what you're practicing. So what I would suggest doing is taking one ear out and actually listening to how you're hitting the rubber pads. I want a nice, strong snare stroke if I'm playing rock, and a nice, strong bass drum hit. But I don't want the hi-hats to be too overly chunky. I really just want to be able to control my dynamic limb independence, so if I want the hi-hat to be louder, I'm able to do that. I'm not just simply cranking it up. And that's a really hard and fine line to balance, because when you're hitting the hi-hat, it will only go so loud no matter how hard you hit it. So there are cases where you need to crank it up. It's just hard to know when exactly to do that. So it is really important to be able to play and adjust the velocity of this, make this louder, make this quieter. Same with the bass drum, same with the left foot, same with the left hand. So really think about that when you play your kit, and when you get on an acoustic kit, test yourself. Make sure that you can control your limbs independent of one another to really get the dynamics sounding great. So if you plan to play acoustic kits as well, just try your best to get some regular practice in on one, just to make sure that all the skills are transferring in a way that you would expect them to. And if you need to make any adjustments when you go back to your electric kit, do that. So many drummers, they find that they sound way better on an electric kit and can play way faster, only to get on an acoustic kit and you get a reality check. So one of the big things with drumming is utilizing rebound. It's a huge part of playing drums. It affects your timing, it affects your feel, it affects dynamics. And the differences between the rebound on an electric kit and a rebound on the acoustic kit is massive, okay? So my floor tom here is a rubber pad. See how easy it is to do that on an electric kit floor tom, whereas I could not do that on an acoustic kit where it's tuned really low and it's kind of flappy and it has a great sound, but there's no way I'm doing fingers like this on that floor tom, right? So transitioning between the snare and the floor tom is a lot easier when you're playing an electric kit, because the feel is very similar. They both feel a little bit like trampolines. Really be mindful of that. When you get on an acoustic kit and you have this specific fill and this snare roll going from the snare to the floor tom, know that it's not going to feel the same. If you're used to practicing on an electric kit with your band or whatever, then you go and you finally do your gig, you're so excited to get to play your acoustic kit, you're out of the house, no one's going to complain about the noise. You go and do your big fill.
If you're just a proxy on electric it with your bad at everything.
Siri thinks I'm
excited. Check it out.
What was that?
You got me.
All right. So apparently Siri is listening in on this lesson as well. He needs to learn some stuff about this. So as I was saying, if you have that big fill, you're ready. It's your moment to do your big fill. You're gonna start flying around the drums on an acoustic kit. It's all gonna fall apart if you've never actually practiced it on that acoustic kit before, because it's going to feel way different. Now, another thing that you need to consider if you're going to be practicing on an electric kit but also playing an acoustic is you really need to still understand the basics of drum tuning, okay? So you need to be able to go to a house kit in the church or in the club or whatever, and you need to be able to tune it and get it to sound really, really good. If you're used to just flicking on the module and you got great sounding toms, I literally just sat down and I hit these and they sounded great. And I can change these to any sounding drum. You know, all these toms sound incredible, but it's not the same way on an acoustic kit, because even if I hit this poorly, if I hit it kind of lightly and with not any sort of like conviction, it still sounds good. On an acoustic kit, it won't sound good at all. You can sound really, really amateur if you don't really know how to hit the drums, how to lay into them a certain way, and how to really tune them in a way that brings out their best sound. So make sure you go and develop your ears, start tuning, and get some practice up on that. And when it comes to setting up an electric kit, you'll notice here it's quite compact. My toms are really, really close together. They're actually a little bit too flat right now. So I kind of have to like lift up my shoulders to play them. But one thing you'll notice is it's super compact. The floor tom is really close to the mid tom. They're almost very close in height as well. Whereas normally the high tom, or the mid tom I should say, would be a little bit higher, farther away from the floor tom. There might be a ride cymbal blocking because I have a nice big 22-inch or 21-inch Peisty ride here. And so it's a very compact kit. Now, if you are going to be switching between electric and acoustic, it's important to recognize that when you go and sit down at your acoustic kit, the distances between things are going to be farther. So if this is something you want to kind of figure out now and make the transition easier, I would recommend that you set up your electric kit in a way more similar to your acoustic. So then when you go from one to the other, the transition is super, super easy. But in this case, I do like having it compact. I feel like it's a different instrument. I can play it differently. There's certain benefits, and one of those being it is very compact. I can move between the toms quickly and fast because they have tons of rebound, they're really close together, and everything is just right here. And so that's one of the big benefits of these electronic drum sets. So there are some tips for those of you that are playing electronic drums. If you have any more tips or if you have any questions for me, please leave them in the comments below. It's really important that we share with each other what is working, what isn't working. We can all learn so much from each other. And if you play an electronic kit and you hear people telling you, oh, you should get an acoustic, or this isn't a real kit, just ignore them, okay? It's not gonna help any of us to even consider what those people are saying. It's pointless to even argue with them. It's not about whether this is a valid way to play drums or not. You are playing the drums, you are learning your rudiments, you are playing music, you can jam with other people. These kits are great, and they are really doing a great service for the entire drumming community because they're making drumming more accessible to a wider audience. I was in Southeast Asia last year, in Singapore, and it was just amazing to see so many great drummers. But as you know, those places are very heavily populated, and acoustic drums just are impossible for some of them. So they're making drumming more accessible, and it is a good thing all around. So thank you all so much for watching this video, and I'll see you very soon.
Oh, amen. They are making it more accessible. And, you know, first, that you can mix a Yamaha kick with a Roland set. I was like, whoa. I mean, I know you can, but like
How
you said,
dare you?
it's almost sacrilegious.
Almost. I have seen it done though. I mean, as far as mixing and matching and whatever, it's whatever works. It's what you have. It's what it's what you had to replace or whatever. I mean, you make it work with whatever.
And when it does come to the different brands, the kicks, they're all kind of different. So if you do prefer one, I'm surprised it's the Yamaha, but
whichever one you like. That's the whole thing is, whichever one sounds the way you like, it's got the right feel. That's also important.
Whichever one triggers the most. His points about, I like that he mentioned the response and the difference when you are on an acoustic kit. I was thinking as I was watching this, I can see drummers buying these eKits so they can practice at home. And like he said, you go to the stage and you get to play on your acoustic kit, but you do have to do some mental reprogramming on how you hit his point about like the hi-hat and cymbals. And when you hit them with the MIDI, they're almost too perfect.
Yep. And that's the thing is, you have to play within that range. Like you have to know where 0 to 100% is, or I should say 1 to 100. And then, know that you could hit it at 120 or 150 and it's not going to matter. It's still only going to come out at 100. So you have to dial in to where you want so that you get some dynamics in your playing. Otherwise, if you're playing at everything between 120 and 150, you're just getting solid 100% all across the board.
Yeah, and with MIDI, MIDI velocity and levels, it's from 1 to 127. So once you hit 127, you might have to go do something like he suggested, where you adjust the channel volume for that particular instrument.
Yeah, if you hit particularly hard, for example, just dial it down a little bit. So you bring that one so that it's within reason, so that the hardest you can hit it should be just getting to 127, maybe.
Wouldn't it be cool if you could turn the volume on your analog drums up and down?
Sure, that'd be nice. Imagine just being able to like dial the top rim like a volume knob. Just turn it down or turn it up, kind of like rototoms. If you remember those.
Yeah. I'm surprised nobody invented an electric drum set that could do something like that. Like, hey, all my drums have knobs.
Sure. And I mean, some people have made a drum kit out of a guitar looking thing. Like it's not even drums at all, but they play all the drums they need to and all the percussion they need to on an instrument that they made themselves.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Well, I do like those tips, especially if you are going to be that practicing on an e-kit, playing on an acoustic kit. Really take some of those tips.
Yeah, the positioning is important, and with that, like he was saying, and whether you're trying to transition, from an acoustic kit to an electric kit, so you're trying to get used to playing the tighter kit, you might want to keep it in that tighter formation and get used to that, and then you're not going to be switching back and forth to acoustic kit. Or if you are going to be switching back and forth, like he said, adjust the electric kit to be more positioned like the acoustic kit, so your skills are in the same places.
I'd more likely be the one who just goes all in with the e-kit, and I practice with it, I perform with it. It's like I'd love to have a piano, but my 88 key weighted keyboard that sounds like a piano to me is as acceptable as having the real piano.
For sure. And if you were to sit in at a jam, let's say, and they had drums there and, they're acoustic drums and you're used to your electric drums now, there's certain amount of adjusting that you can do to an acoustic kit to get things like, get the drums closer together so that they do feel more, at home. Well, you have your spots where things should be and you can kind of adjust.
And good drummers, the really good drummers, can reprogram themselves to they can go sit at a completely foreign kit. Sometimes like reversed, because like, oh, that dude's left-handed. They can play on different kits and adjust on the fly. The really good drummers, it's like, okay, that's where that drum is. Now I know.
Yeah. I mean, some of the best drummers that I've worked with work on the simplest of kits, where it's it's small for even a cocktail kit, you would say, where it's just a kick, maybe only one tom, maybe one up, one down, but keeping a very, very small footprint, because they had a big band. Like some of these are 8-10 piece bands, so they need all the stage space they can get. So he keeps it as a very tight kit, but manages to get a very full sound because he does have a double kick pedal in there. So the double kick pedal, small kit, and you can get what you need, and it's
kind of a necessity.
Music, yeah,
kind of a necessity nowadays.
Exactly.
And I love watching the minimalist drummers, the ones who like 3 pieces and a splash, and I'm good.
Exactly. Doesn't need to be fancy. Doesn't need to be crazy. Just it doesn't need to be the Neil Peart experience where you're going down the road.
A lot of times those minimalist drummers do fancier work with less drums. Because
it's good to get used to that. It's good to get used to doing that because you can, make a very small kit sound very fancy just by technique, and that's the point there. Yeah.
Yeah, good technique goes a long way.
Indeed.
So our next one, because we've looked at some of the super sexy kits and the really and this one's not cheap, but at the same time, for its price, it's competitive with those Alesis and Yamahas and Rolands. It's a smaller company, but at NAMM this year, they made a lot of noise. A lot of drummers were like, "This is a cool eKit."
Nice. Looks like they broke a lot of rules with the design.
Well, yeah, they went sexy.
Yeah, nice.
I like how it looks.
Definitely. And again, it looks very sturdy. Like you were saying, the people were confirming that it doesn't just look sturdy.
Well, drummers are going to really test a piece of equipment. So if anybody's going to beat on a piece of music equipment, it's going to be the drummer.
Yeah. And that was the thing with the light kit, like the one that he was carrying around in that other video, that carrying the little light kit. If you're really digging into that, is it going to start walking away from you? That's the question. That's where you get legs that really looks solid like this thing does. It's not going anywhere.
Yeah, if it's got AI and legs, it might eventually run away.
It'll walk.
This is one of the Freshie channels, another big drum channel, and he's got some great sponsors. Kawai, Sennheiser, Sound Toys. Nice. I use them all.
For sure. So
this is at Drums Bondo. Drums a Bondo. I like it.
All right.
And what he's doing is a review on this Efnote, and like we've seen what some of these other name brand kits can do. The design on this is really sleek.
Yeah, it's like a mirror image down the center. You do have the 2 on top, or 2 up and 2 down, but it's basically the two toms up and the snare and the tom on the other side there, but it looks like a mirror image down the middle.
Yeah, and for a digital kit like this, it is kind of minimalist, but at the same time complete.
Yep. Can't wait to hear it.
Grab this from our cloud.
Nice.
Hello and welcome to Drums Bonito. My name is Lars and this review is about the Efnote 3 Style B eDrum set. The kit doesn't want to look like an acoustic drum set, but on the other hand, it clearly stands out from the conventional eDrum sets with their typical rack systems. For a price of 2,300 euros, the manufacturer promises authentic acoustic sounds and intuitive operation via touchscreen. I will first tell you about the technical specifications, then play a few sounds and kits, and finally give you my conclusion. The most striking feature of the Efnote 3 is the unusual look of the 3 lambda stands to which the toms and cymbals are attached. A snare stand is also included, but no hi-hat or bass drum pedal. Wooden shells with a silver sparkle finish and double-ply mesh heads are used for the drum pads. The kit consists of a 12-inch bass drum, a 12-inch triple zone snare, 2 10-inch rack toms and a 12-inch floor tom, each in dual zone design. A special feature is the side rim attached to the snare, which is connected with a separate cable and is responsible for rim click sounds. While the Efnote 3 Style A model is equipped with a 16-inch ride cymbal and a 14-inch crash, the Style B model also has a second 14-inch crash. The cymbal pads each have 3 trigger zones and can be played on the entire surface. The latter also applies to the 12-inch dual zone hi-hat, which is mounted on a conventional stand and has an optical sensor. Before I go into more detail about the module, here are a few sound examples. The module is controlled via touchscreen. There are 2 sockets for audio in and headphones, as well as the power supply connection on the left-hand side of the module, while the USB port for connecting to the computer is located on the right-hand side. 2 multi-ports are responsible for all other connections. The 111 multi-layer samples of the Efnote 3 are mainly made up of acoustic drum sounds. The editing options include pitch, dampening, EQ and reverb. It is also possible to layer sounds. Up to 50 edited sounds can be stored as user sounds. The number of preset kits is 16 plus 34 programmable user kits. Additional kits can also be imported via the Efnote website. The Efnote 3 also has a selection of practice tools that can be used to train timing, accuracy and stamina, as well as 99 drum loops that can be used as practice templates. The extensive routing functions are a particular strength of the Efnote 3. Here are some more sound examples. here comes my conclusion. The mesh heads of the Efnote 3 respond sensitively and, thanks to the 3 trigger elements, evenly across the entire playing surface. I really like the smooth transitions between the trigger zones on the cymbal pads and the playing feel on the hi-hat. The finest nuances are transmitted absolutely authentically. The drum sounds of the Efnote 3 module are characterized by a natural, dry character. If you like it a little livelier, you can add reverb, of course. The module is intuitive to use and offers a good overview thanks to the large display. For my taste, the touchscreen could respond a little more sensitively. The latency value of just 3 milliseconds is absolutely outstanding. There is no perceptible delay between hitting the pad and the sound being triggered. The Efnote 3 can be used as a 2-in, 8-out audio interface via the USB connections, which means that 8 channels can be routed to a computer's DAW via USB cable. MIDI data can be transferred via USB or the MIDI out and even Bluetooth. Unfortunately, there is no option to import your own sounds. So if you're looking for a high-quality eDrum set with excellent internal acoustic drum sounds and can largely do without electronic sounds, you should take a look at the Efnote 3 Style B. Okay, that's it for today. If you liked the video, feel free to hit the like button or subscribe to our channel. For purchasing the Efnote 3, please use the links in the video description below. See you next time. Bye.
Your turn.
Glenn, where'd you go? Drums bonito. That's how you say it.
Yes, indeed. And again, great taking it through its paces. Well done.
Oh, an awesome tester. Like a piece of equipment like that, I'd rather see someone like that test it than me.
Exactly. And same, one thing I was thinking about is the difference between the electronic and acoustic kits, and the same, kind of a difference that guitar players have between an acoustic guitar and an electric guitar. Like if you're used to playing all your riffs on an electric guitar, and then you go to a show and something you're going to play on an acoustic guitar, you're like, oh yeah, it's the same thing. It's really not. Like when you start playing on the acoustic guitar, you'll find you might feel like a beginner again because it is a whole different feel than it was.
I feel the same way when I play with the bouncy plastic keys.
Yeah.
This is not the same as the weighted.
And some things you can play very fast on the chiclet little light keys that you wouldn't be able to play as fast on weighted keys. True. But that's one of those things where if you get used to one, the other can be more difficult, but the notes are all the same. So like once you understand where all the notes are and the things that you want to hit, that's fine. But it comes down to the technique really at that point.
If I was playing more like dance keyboard parts, the bouncy keys are awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
But I tend to write piano stuff. So like bouncy keys can work with piano, but it's not the same.
No, the weight does come into it a lot.
Yeah. And with the drums, looking at the cymbal action on this one, again, these cymbal designs, very interesting. They are plastic, but they seem to respond like metal. The way he was playing it, you could hear the dynamics as he moved around on it. And
yep, he was testing the multiple zones, and he'd mentioned that it was optical, I believe, the hi-hat. So like, as it's opening and closing.
That's how the hi-hat does what it does there, is the optical.
I assume so. I mean, I'm not sure the full, the trademarks that are all involved there, but my assumption is when he mentioned optical, I'm just thinking when it's going up and down, there's, it's like an optical mouse or trackball, it's tracking the motion at a very fine level of detail, optically.
And that's what I like about some of these alternate companies. This technology, they've been doing digital drums since the 90s, but it's evolved, it's changed. Some of these companies are taking unique approaches to triggering and reading the MIDI triggers.
Yeah. And I mean, when it comes to vibrations, reading that optically makes a lot of sense because, light travels very, very fast. So, if you got even very, very fast vibrations, you'd be able to catch nuance with light. So.
What's going to be interesting with MIDI 3 standard is ratified now, and it takes 1 to 127 and pushes it to levels that are in the tens of thousands. Tomorrow's technology is going to read like it's going to be like going from 16-bit to 64-bit.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Or if you remember back when the CGA and EGA days before we got to the VGA,
it went from 16 colors to 32 colors to thousands,
to millions.
It looks like a picture.
Yeah, exactly. And same kind of thing, like the granularity of detail that you can get going forward. They have to open up the standard to go from just the 1 to 127 was good to get where we've gotten so far. I mean, it was enough to get us here, and then to open it up to those 10,000, that really does open up like all that extra layer levels.
The final frontier is the controllers. The controllers have to be able to support these new standards, these MPC controllers, that we looked at last year. And now you can slide your hands around and control things. They're taking advantage of this higher level of standard.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. And that's again where light could come in handy there as well when it comes to some of those like the beam on your keyboard there. What do they call that?
The V beam.
Yeah, I mean, which again is same idea. It's reading nuances of your playing based on the scanning distance.
And in that case, it's translating to a pitch wheel or a modulator, depending on how I program it. If I go up and down, it's like using the pitch wheel.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Without having to actually grab the wheel, which is good.
Yeah, well, it's like a theremin at that point. I can play Star Trek.
But can you? That's the question.
I've watched enough of it.
That theremin, I can imagine that's not too easy because you have to have really good pitch to be able to play a theremin properly.
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out the keys, this theremin thing.
Just adds a little flavor.
At Drums Bonito, a freshy drum channel.
Nice.
And I like what he's looking at. These are the alternate manufacturers. And in this kind of market, I might go with something like that. His concern about the touchscreen was one that when he mentioned it had a touchscreen, same attitude I have, like responsiveness. I'd rather have buttons in that situation because you're usually going through presets. You're usually just want next or previous and make some buttons. Touchscreen's cool, but
to me, that's even it's less of a thing. Like at the beginning, when you're going through the thing initially to test all the different sounds and all that, that's one thing. But a lot of times, once you get to the sounds that you like, you might just leave it set like that. So like you might find the kit you like the volume set, then you never touch the module, except
or if you have a set list, then you use presets and say, okay, first song kit, second song kit.
Yeah, exactly. And that way you can be even more versatile.
Yeah, and I want foot triggers at that point. If I don't want to be reaching over if I'm a drummer. I want to. I know how to use my feet.
Well, I think a lot of times with the drummers, they have the pad right next to the hi-hat, so it's like it's not even reaching far, but it's more like you don't even see it from the audience really because it's right next to you right there.
Yeah, and drummers are so good at doing something while they're in the middle of doing something.
Yeah, for sure. I see them sometimes. Like some of the drummers, they'll while they're playing in the middle of a song, they'll like tuck one of the sticks under their arm and keep playing while they're keeping the beat going. You didn't notice if you weren't watching the drummer, you didn't know anything happened. And he's just like you're reaching over and adjusting something or reaching over to grab something, and then grabs the stick back and right back into where he left off and keeps going. It's like damn.
When a drummer's bored, a good one, he'll just sit there and twiddle that stick while he's doing what he needs to.
Exactly. Because he can do the whole groove with one hand.
So we've seen some of these kits. The ones we're going to look at here, Alesis, my most likely choice that I'm going to go with, although I'm kind of changing my mind, like looking through these different choices. But at Cooper Drummer, that's with 3's instead of E's, over on YouTube, he goes through the two kits that right now are the ones that I'm considering. One's $3.99 and one's $5.99, both by Alesis. The Nitro Pro versus the Nitro Max, and I'm a Red Bull kind of guy. So
Max is right up your alley.
Yeah, well, I think the extras that you get. But as we saw in the earlier video, these Alesis plastic cymbals, I know it's a turnoff for me too. I'm like, but seeing them in action is kind of convincing me that, like, I might just be thinking in my head, plastic cymbals, no.
Yeah, and that's the thing is I probably have the same kind of feeling about them, but again, I would have to sit down at a kit and actually try them and see how they feel. They might be, they feel and sound totally natural. Who knows?
Yeah, the pinch test would be my ultimate.
How quickly do they choke?
Let's see these two bad boys in action. $500 drum kit.
Nice.
Hey, what's up everybody? This is the brand new Alesis Nitro Pro. This is an incredibly affordable and very versatile electronic drum set. And today we're gonna decide if this is the best budget-friendly electronic drum set of 2024, or if its little brother, the Alesis Nitro Max, is the best electronic drum set of 2024. For those of you who are balling on a budget and want some awesome drums, but you don't want to spend a lot of money. Let's check it out. All right, so you're obviously clicking on this video because you're interested in electronic drums and you also don't want to spend a ton of money, which is great because honestly, electronic drums have come so far. I never in my life would have thought that I'd be sitting behind a kit like this for the price that you can get this kit at. This is only $5.99 and its little brother, the Alesis Nitro Max, is only $3.99, which is crazy that you can get a full-blown electronic drum set that can sound this good, that can do this many things for those price points. But now you have to make the decision of whether or not you want to spend the extra $200 for the Alesis Nitro Pro kit, or if you want to save that $200 and get the Nitro Max kit. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, because honestly, you can't go wrong with either kit, but there are some differences that are not necessarily super apparent just from looking at the kits because they kind of look similar. So let's check out what those differences are. All right, so one of the first big upgrades for the Nitro Pro is the 8-inch mesh kick tower. This is an upgrade over the 6-inch rubber kick tower from the Nitro Max kit, and it allows you to play double kick pedal as well as get a more realistic feeling from the drum surface of the kick tower. That mesh feels better than the rubber, and it's certainly nice to be able to play double kick. Now, if you don't need double kick and you're trying to save the money, the rubber kick tower from the Nitro Max does work quite well for the single kick. Now, all of the toms on the Nitro Pro kit are now dual zone triggers. So that means that you trigger a sound in the middle of the head and you trigger a sound on the edge of the head like a rim. This is, of course, more realistic to a normal drum set experience. The Nitro Max kit only has the single trigger in the middle of the head. In most cases, you're not going to play the rims, so it's not a huge deal, but as you grow and as you learn as a drummer and you're more creative and more intricate and interesting in the way you approach the drums, you may find that second zone of sampling really, really fun and a cool way to upgrade your playing and give yourself something else to try. On both of the kits, your toms are 8-inch pads, so no difference in size between the two kits. All right, so next up on the upgrades list is this snare drum here. This is the Nitro Pro's dual zone deep snare drum trigger that is 10 inches. The Nitro Max has a 10-inch snare pad that is dual zone, but it is not quite as deep. So this gives you a little bit more of a realistic playing experience. You get more of the cool red finish, which you guys know I'm a fan of red. And it just feels like you're hitting something that's a little bit heftier, which is cool. I wouldn't say there's a huge difference between playing the shallow and the deeper snare drum pad, but it does look cool and it does feel a little bit like you're hitting something with a little more depth. All right, moving on to the cymbals. They are the same size as the previous Nitro Max kit, except now you get a choke on your crash and a choke on your ride. This just gives you more options when it comes to playing, more things to practice, more ways to enjoy the kit and experiment with your drumming. Make sure when you set up the kit that you put the single zone 10-inch cymbal on the hi-hat so that the other two can choke. Otherwise, you'll have a choking hi-hat and not the choking crash or ride. All right, so now we are on to the most important upgrade for the Nitro Pro kit, and this may be the main reason to consider that $200 upgrade if you are an adult or if you are a heavy hitter, and that is this rack right here. The Nitro Max, one of my biggest complaints is that the rack is a little bit flimsy. It doesn't feel extremely solid. Now, I will say for the price point, I will ignore it all day long and I will play the crap out of that Nitro Max kit. But now that they have the Nitro Pro kit and it's only $200 extra, the rack on this is much sturdier. It is very similar to the rack that you get on the Alesis Strata Prime kit, which is their top of the line high-end kit. In fact, it really is just a smaller configuration of that. It feels sturdy and it sits higher. So if you're an adult, this kit actually comes up high enough for you to play it at almost any playing style or height. The Nitro Max kit, that's another complaint, is that it's a little bit short. Now, I like to play sitting low. I have long arms. I'm not super conscious of my posture, so I can play a Nitro Max kit and be happy. But if you want to make sure that your drums are up high and that it feels like a bigger, more adult playing experience, then the Nitro Pro kit is for you. If you have a small child though, it may actually be a good idea for you to consider the Nitro Max kit because it sits lower and it is of course more affordable. On both kits, one of the coolest features is the built-in Bluetooth. So you're able to connect your phone or connect whatever Bluetooth device that you want to play sound through the module and it instantly connects and then will play through the mix into your ears, which just makes it so easy to sit down and practice and play songs. You've also got a great little spot to set your phone so that you can see it if you want to play along to the Drumeo lessons, which by the way, the kit comes with 3 months free of Drumeo, which is incredible because they are amazing lessons and you can't miss out on that deal. If you are a newer drummer, you got to go download it and you got to learn from the best, from the pros. I actually have some lessons on there too, but I am by far and away like the least talented player on the whole site. That's how incredible this site is. You got to check it out. But say you're practicing your lessons, you can set your phone there, you could set your iPad there, you can set whatever other device it is that you are wanting to stream your music from, you're wanting to look at, you're wanting to watch an instructional video. This is absolutely a seamless experience to have a ledge mount that you can just set your phone on. It works so well. The module also has built-in click, it has built-in rhythms, it has built-in songs, all these practice tools. You can record yourself, you can start and stop, you can change the tempo. All of that is built into this module and it allows you so much ability to practice and to just be inspired and to sit down behind this kit and have a good time. And that's what it's all about. For this price point, you cannot beat either this kit or the Nitro Max kit. Not to mention, if the built-in sounds are not enough, if you want to record something really, really high-end level and it's not just for practice, you can hook this up via USB out
to your computer, and you can trigger external samples and VSTs. And the Alesis Nitro Pro and the Nitro Max come with BFD Player Free, which is their own built-in VST sample software that they give to you. So most electronic kits, you have to go buy a VST, you have to go buy a sample pack, and I'll show you something that's really awesome that I have worked with and purchased. But in this case, the BFD player gives you some incredible samples, a great built-in module. It's plug and play. You literally hook up the cable to the BFD player. It knows what kit you have, and you just start playing. Otherwise, you can go in and you can choose the MIDI voices and send those over to a different external VST to your digital audio workstation, and you can record this kit like it is a real drum set in a big studio, or like it has some of the most incredible samples in it. And that's what's amazing about this price point, is if you have a great acoustic kit, but you don't want to buy microphones and an interface and stands and cables, and you don't have a great sounding room, you can pick up an Alesis Nitro Max or this Nitro Pro, and you can record and play incredible samples at home. You can write for your albums. You can just be more inspired by the sounds you're getting while you practice. You can record really cool drum covers, videos for the internet, social media, drum lessons, practice, whatever it is that you're trying to record. A kit like this instantly allows you to level up the sound without any of the complication, without any of the additional purchases. And it allows you the ability to practice quietly. That is awesome. All right, it's time to decide, is this the best budget electronic drum set of 2024, or does the little brother, the Alesis Nitro Max, win because it is $200 cheaper? That is a question you're gonna have to answer with your bank account, because for me, the $599 that this kit retails at is an incredible value, and it is a better playing experience. It is a longer lasting playing experience. You're gonna be able to be more creative with the extra choke on the cymbal, the dual zone of the toms. The sturdier rack is gonna last longer. You can play double kick with the kick pedal, even if you don't plan on doing it now, because it does come with a single kick. One day you might want a double kick pedal, so having that is always a great option. And really just the experience in itself, I believe, is worth the $200 if you have it. If you don't have it, or you're trying to like go as budget friendly as possible, then the Alesis Nitro Max is your friend all day. In fact, you can get the one with the expansion pack for still less than the Nitro Pro kit, which comes with an extra tom and an extra cymbal. But I'm sure there's going to be an Alesis Nitro Pro expansion pack coming very soon, and you'll definitely want to get it because this kit is amazing. So thanks for tuning in. Let's check it out, play you out a little bit more, and don't forget to go check out my demo of this kit over at Sweetwater. I also did a full demo of the Nitro Max kit as well for Sweetwater, and of course you're going to get an incredible playing experience and buying experience when you purchase the kit from Sweetwater. And I actually work at Sweetwater, so I say this because I know from experience, I've been saying it for years, but I also do work at Sweetwater now. So that's one of those things where every day I get to see how well they treat people, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to work there, and it's a lot of fun to get to do things like we brought this thing out of the box, and I recorded the demo in our video studios at Sweetwater of this kit, and that was my first experience with it, and I'm just like, whoa, this thing is incredible, and I can't wait to see what you all do with it. So thanks for watching. Go play some drums.
Oh, Cooper has the coolest job.
Yes, indeed. Gotta love playing with the toys.
And hey, you're a great salesman because I'm going with the pro. I need that. I need that double kick.
More than the extra tom and snare, or tom and cymbal.
Well, plus I like a drum set with a nice rack. So I'm going to spend the $200 for the nice rack.
Yeah, I would do the same because I have seen, not that I have seen the 399 one and or know anything about the, the rack being less sturdy, like he was saying. I have seen electronic drum kits where the rack isn't as sturdy, or whatever mount they're using. Like as you're hitting the drum, it starts like rotating down away from you. Like, instead of being flat, it's like.
I've dealt with it with keyboard racks, and I've had cheap ones and I've had expensive ones, and there's a reason why you pay for the good racks, because they you use them.
Sturdy construction is very important. I mean, again, it also depends how much you're going to be breaking it down and setting it up as well. Do you want a much more sturdy rack that is going to basically be set up in your room and lives there, or do you want something that you're going to be able to, break down quickly and easily and move it somewhere and set it back up easily?
And it's going to set back up the same way as when you took it apart.
And that's also where, if you're putting it in a car, taking it back out, that's where usually you can't leave it fully set up depending on the size of the kit. But, there's certainly a lot more setup involved with an acoustic kit than there are with most of these electric kits. So they are designed to be broken down easily.
You see why these are my contenders, and they're both from the same company. There's other companies in the $300 to $500 range, but Alesis has the reputation. When it comes to digital drums, they've been there since the beginning. And if I'm gonna go get an economy drum set, 500 is a great price point. This is the best I've seen in the $500 range yet.
Yeah, I agree. And
I mean, if Zildjian can like loosen up a little bit, bring it down like $4,000.
Maybe not this year, but maybe by Christmas 2 years from now, maybe we'll see. It is
Otherwise,
new technology, so the new technology is going to be much more expensive.
Santa's going to need a bigger bag.
I think he needs a bigger bag. Yes.
Yeah. So that was at Cooper Drummer, with a 3 instead of the E's over on YouTube. Awesome to have like a Sweetwater insider, between Sweetwater and Drumeo tonight. Like, we've seen a lot of talent in this drum world.
Oh yeah, and Sweetwater is one of my go-tos. Gone there for many times. Both me and Mike, we both get a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, it's nice to just have a reliable source when you are spending the kind of money that like we sometimes spend.
Yep.
I've gone through 4 or 5 music stores online and in the physical world over my musical career.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to be able to settle like in a comfortable, reliable online retailer. I wish I could go try the toys. If there was a Sweetwater near me, I'd be a regular.
Exactly. It is fun to be able to go in and try the things out.
But once you do know what you want, this is a good place to check when you're comparing prices.
And like you're saying about him having the best job, like, the boss came over and said, "Hey, I want you to go get that box of drums, go set it up over in the studio there and do a demo." It's like, yeah.
And tell me what you think of it.
Yes, I will.
I would pay you.
Exactly. Like, I'm going to work through lunch.
So for our last video, I've got a homework project. I've got to learn this machine. Welcome.
And it's got lots of, just like you were talking about, it's got the knobs that you like there. It's got lots of buttons. And now I see the bank of buttons on the right. You got the 16. What are the 8 on the left? Are those more like menu buttons or different pages, you think?
Well, it's meant to be both a drum controller, drum pads. It is a finger bangers machine,
right?
But all the console controls and the additional knobs, these are all controllers that can be programmed or utilizing them in the built-in engine, because this has a built-in sound engine.
Nice.
Contact sounds can be loaded into this and run independent of a computer.
Very cool.
It's a powerful machine. Cole says gonna have like a field day once he's got this configured, but we've got to learn how to set it up. And Sanjay C,
nice,
awesome reviewer. We're gonna see how his tutorials are, because he knows his gear.
Let's check it out.
Yeah, at Sanjay C on YouTube.
In this video, I'll show you how to set up your Maschine PLUS from scratch and make your first beat. We'll connect to Wi-Fi, set up your account, then I'll show you how to create a new beat and show you some of the standalone features of Maschine PLUS, including how to record and sample external sounds. This video is great for new and experienced Maschine users because you'll get up and running with the latest features in Maschine PLUS quickly. Now, if you don't have Maschine PLUS yet, you can order it using the link in the description. If you use my link, it does help out my channel. Thank you. If you're new around here, I'm Sanjay C. I have tons of videos about music production and a full series on Maschine Micro on my channel. Consider subscribing if you haven't already. I always bring you the latest gear and easy to follow tutorials. Let's get started. Remove your Maschine PLUS from the box and connect the power cable. You can lock the cable by turning the cable clockwise. Next, connect your audio out cables to your speakers or audio interface. You can also connect headphones. Turn on Maschine by pressing the power button here for a couple seconds. The first thing you'll need to do is connect to your Wi-Fi. Maschine PLUS needs Wi-Fi to enable you to connect to your native account and download sounds and updates. After connecting to Wi-Fi, you can log in to your native ID by scanning the QR code with your mobile phone. This process will register your Maschine PLUS. You'll only need to do this once. Also, update your machine to the latest firmware to make sure you have all the latest features. When you load it for the first time, the demo project will open, and this is a great place to start exploring. Alright, that's all fun, but let's build a simple beat from scratch. Let's add another expansion through Wi-Fi. Remember, Maschine PLUS comes with lots of drum sounds already, so you can load another project or groups of drum kits to get started. But if you're like me, you always want more, so let's try something else. Press Settings and then move the encoder knob to Library. You'll see the expansions you've already purchased in this list, but if you haven't purchased anything, you'll be able to download some and install them from here as well. They will install over Wi-Fi. Let's install Lilac Glare. Now that the expansion is installed, we're going to need to create a new project. Press the File button and hit New. If you don't want to save the modifications to the project you're working on, hit Discard. If you want to save it, you can click Save. So now we've got a blank session. Press the Browser button and you'll see Lilac Glare, the expansion we just installed. You can start browsing the kits with the encoder. I'm going to load the Blue Tails kit. Press the Browser button to get out of the browser mode, and let's set the tempo to 90 BPM. Press Pattern and one of the clear pads, and press Shift and Metronome to turn on the metronome. Now we've got some drums here. Press Shift and record for the count-in. Now the timing doesn't sound perfect, so I'm going to quantize. If you press the Shift and Quantize button, it'll quantize it perfectly. You can also use Shift and Quantize 50% for a more natural sound. I'm going to use that. Great. I'm going to enter the hi-hats using the Note Repeat button. You can select 16th notes, 30-second notes, and eighth notes. I'm just going to use eighth notes. All right, next, let's try one of the native instruments included instruments. This is unique to Maschine standalone. No computer connected, and you have access to all these cool instruments. I want to try Massive. Let's create a new group, press the browser button, and let's navigate to Instruments. Let's select Massive, and now we can start auditioning the sounds. I'm going to filter these sounds by synth pad. I'm going to load Astral Straw. Pressing the chord mode will give me some chords instantly. But I like changing this to the chord set mode, which gives me chord progression ideas. Let's record that. You can start modifying the sound from here. At this point, it's good to save your project. Press Shift and the Save button and choose a project name. All right, that was decent, and I could get by using the chord mode on Maschine PLUS, but I miss having my keys. Let's connect a MIDI keyboard. All right, I've connected the keyboard. Let's create another group, and let's choose another instrument. This time, I'm going to choose Monarch. Now don't forget, after you've recorded this, you can always change the sound of the instrument as well. All right, I want to add another sound. I've got this old Casio CZ101, and I want to record this into Maschine PLUS. You can connect external gear into Maschine PLUS, anything like a mic or a synthesizer, whatever. I've connected the CZ101 to input 1 on the back of Maschine PLUS, and I've created a new group and a new pattern. Next, hit the sampling button on Maschine, and make sure you've got the right channel selected. I'm using channel 1, and so I've selected it as mono and input 1. Press the start button at the top and shift and record for the count-in. All right, I just recorded 1 bar. Let's listen to that. All right, let's add some effects to that sound. Now we can use some of the internal effects that are already included, but there are some other really nice effects that you can download. Let's go to Settings, back to Library, and let's download the ROM reverb. Let's navigate to the plus sign there, click right on the encoder knob, press in, and you'll see you've got a few internal effects. Turn this encoder knob and select Native Instruments. There you've got the ROM VST. Press that, now we've added ROM to this. It's awesome, it already sounds good. Let's play that. It's already sounding great. Let's change the length of the pattern to 2. Now it doesn't repeat as often. Finally, let's add some effects using the performance strip right here. I've clicked the drum group, so we're going to put the effects on the drums. Press Shift and Perform, and it's put the filter effect on the drums. Let's play it. Don't forget to save your project, When you come back to Maschine Plus, you can always click the File button and see a list of all your projects and load any one of them. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Keep an eye on my channel for more Maschine Plus tips and videos. Keep making the music you love, and I'll see you again soon.
Oh, never forget to save.
Always, always never forget to save. And that's one of those that, yeah, I see people that turn off their board by turning off the power strip and like not even giving it a chance to shut off. You know, it kills me every time because, you know, having a background in tech support, it's one of those things that just cutting the power is not the way to do things. It's like you always want to save it, shut it down, you know, allow it to exit gracefully, all that good stuff.
When you're dealing with synths and sequencers in some of these cases, if you don't save when you turn the power off,
It's
like
gone.
it's not usually stored in permanent memory until you save.
Yeah, so hopefully you remember because it doesn't.
But Cole is going to have a blast with this toy because the fact that you can take these native instrument contact samples and just bring them into the machine without having to use a computer.
Yeah.
I love the contact like solution, but running it from I need a separate machine just to run contact. It's a monster. But this machine does it all without the computer.
I love it. I think I might need one of those too.
Yeah, well, he got a good deal on it. That's why he jumped on it.
I like the lights, the little strip. When he was doing the filter, going back and forth, the little lights on there to like.
And the little slider approach on certain settings like that. That's what I want to do.
Yep, exactly. Like a mini little touch screen, touchpad. Yeah.
Plus, I do like knobs. You know, you should have at least some knobs on a machine.
I'm seeing about 8 knobs there, so there you go. Plenty of knobs for you.
Yeah. Hopefully, one day I'll get Native Instruments to hook me up with the complete solution because I want it.
Very cool. A lot of good stuff today. A lot of drum stuff.
Thank you, Sanjay C.
Yep.
I needed to know that.
And nice condensed review going through a lot of the different features, like walk you through a lot of the stuff there. So that's going to be, you know, very helpful for you, especially when you're going in working with Cole there to get them all set up, started.
Well, and he has a pleasing approach to how he explains it, you know, because intimidating hardware, it's like, and he's like, well, you know, just go here, press this, don't forget this button. With this kind of hardware, you gotta get familiar with at least certain buttons and knobs because that's their user interface. Sanjay just showed me all that I need to know.
And like, not that it's a drawback to the thing at all, but as far as like entering your Wi-Fi password, for example, like when it brought up a keyboard on screen, I'm thinking that's going to be knobs also. So you probably got to like dial your way through the keyboard. So, I mean, not that that's, again, you're not going to have a keyboard on a machine like that because there's no reason to other than those brief things where you're trying to save something. And you had to figure out something for that.
Connecting to a Wi-Fi from a musical device is no different than a printer nowadays.
Sure. Good stuff.
And if you do have to put in the password to the Wi-Fi for a network printer, then, you know, consider what your password is and how complicated it needs to be.
Yeah. Well, in this case, they were talking about even just being able to log in and get the downloads into the device.
Yeah. Well, you have to authenticate your Native Instrument account, which is, you know, that's how they keep things working properly from their perspective. And you can get Native Instrument samples all over the place. But whether you get them supported and they're beautiful samples and sounds, you want to go get them this way because they work.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it looks, takes everything out of the equation. It takes the PC out of the equation. You don't have to worry about what you're downloading or where you're getting it from. It's just all in the device. So I like that.
Yeah, getting the PC out of the equation, I love, because I like my synthesizer over there and I like my PC over here. And I do connect the two of them, but
When I want to, yeah.
I like for my instrument to be able to function without needing the computer.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
Great stuff.
We're getting through the drums. There's a few more drum topics that we're going to explore over the next couple of months.
Yep. I like it. We're hitting a lot of different subjects, a lot of ground covering.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in a band. We're going to get to all of you eventually.
Everyone gets their highlight night. Everyone gets their moment in the sun.
Oh.
That one's over there. This one's over here. I'm over there. You're over here.
Now it's our time.
This is since you're here and I'm here. Isn't this our time? Nothing wrong with a little snack on our time.
Oh, double cheese pizza.
Right over here. Very cool. So thanks for joining us all on another Thursday. What do we got coming up?
We're finishing up the WAG this weekend. So tomorrow night, we're going to be taking a look at the tracks again, last minute voting, which will be in the description. So if you haven't, I've got to put together a judge review video. And
you've got work to do.
At least I don't have mail.
That's right. But thanks again for everybody coming out. Join us again next week. Probably is next week more drums, or we're going to do something different next week. We're not sure.
Yeah, I'm still in exploratory mode there because there's a few other things that I've been wanting to look at. So next week's going to be a surprise.
All right, surprise. I like it. Thanks, everybody. And join us again next week. Join us tomorrow. And join us anytime.
All the time.
All the time. All of the times. That is when to join us on Talkin Shhh I.T.
Night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
We cover digital audio workstations and music tools. We explore theory, gear, and MIDI too. How to arrange, compose, and the art of arranging. Taking a look at AI and how the times have changed. On a PC or a Mac, and even with a mobile device, we'll be talking about it all every Thursday night. From software to plugins and synths that entice. Dive deep into tech and let creativity take flight. Talkin IT. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. From bedroom producers to seasoned pros, we're breaking it down so knowledge grows. Whether you're a DJ or a beat making wizard, we got the tips and tricks to make your sound sizzle. Mixing and mastering, that's our jam. With the tutorials and tips on how much rev. Get the best quality from your setup and gear. Tune in every week and lend us your ear. We're talking IT. Come and join in and have some fun. It's highly educational with a lot to learn. We're talking We're talking